Okay, hi. So today we're at Tintern Abbey, ancient monument in Monmouthshire, and really an impressive ruin. And in the sort of beautiful sort of Wye Valley, and which is a part of Wales in the UK. And this episode is going to be a fairly short episode, I suppose. Certainly compared to the last one, which is 40 minutes, which is way too long. And but anyway, I couldn't break it down any slower. But this one is responding actually to a request by a viewer, and thank you very much for that. Because on the travel episode, I took the FM2, and I had Mamiya 400 in it, and obviously I had the wonderful Bronica GS1 with some really lovely T-Max 100 in it, and the chap mentioned that it would be nice to put 100 ISO in the Nikon and 400 ISO in the GS1. So the GS1 was still one, but nevertheless, I thought that was a good idea to actually, let's do a comparison of images shot on 35mm. So I've got Ilford Delta 100 in the Nikon FM2, and I'm going to be shooting on a 50mm Nikon 50mm f1.8, and then I thought, as a compromise, because I thought, well, yeah, GS1s are so good, that I thought, right, as a compromise, not saying this is not good, but this is a Mamiya 645 1000S. Lovely little camera, beautifully made, really fantastic. This one is most probably, what would it be? I don't know. I haven't looked this up before, so I'm guessing here, so don't hold me to it. But it's got to be 50 years old. It may even be 60 years old. It's somewhere in that ballpark. Still works beautifully. It's in great condition, this particular one as well. And I've got the prism finder on it, which has got a meter in it. And yeah, that'll be good. And we can have a look what the exposures are like. But this one's got Ilford HP5 400 in it. So I thought, let's bring the formats closer together for a slightly fairer comparison, and we'll bring and get the most we can out of the Nikon FM2, and with the similar lens. This is an 80mm, it's an 80mm lens on the Mamiya 645, which will equate then to this 50mm on the 35, and yeah, let's see what's what with the images, and make a comparison, and see how good the Delta 100, which I know is a great film. Actually, the Seven Crossing episode I shot on Delta 100 on Mark's beautiful, or should I say Clint? So that's yeah. Anyway, on Mark's lovely Fuji the 6.9, the wide 6.9, which, I mean, fantastic quality negatives. So yeah, let's see what we get out of both. I'm sure they'll both be fantastic. It's a bit overcast today. It's the first of the. We're going into a wet spell of weather in Wales, and I think it's going to be, but it's drying up this afternoon. So actually, as I start taking photographs, I'm thinking the forecast is saying that this overcast weather is clearing, which it does look like it is. So yeah, let's give this let's give this a go and see what we get out of it. And yeah, should be interesting if nothing else. So let's go for a walk. So welcome back to the studio, and yeah, the weather was a bit odd, and it stayed fairly overcast. It wasn't too bad in the end in Tintern. And so what I thought we'd do now is I've processed the films in ID11, and yeah, the negs look fine. And so what we'll do now, scan them in, as I said I would, and we'll have a look now in Lightroom, and zoom in a bit, see what the difference is. So we got the Delta 100 on the 35mm, and the it's HP5, wasn't it? Yeah, it's HP5 on the Mamiya. So on the Mamiya 1000S. So we'll have a look at those, go through some of the files, look at some detail, and then what I will do then is I'll actually do an inkjet print of one of the images, and we'll see what's what, and see what difference there is in print as well, because ultimately that's what I suppose matters, because everything looks fine on screen, but when it's in print is what is the key to it all. So yes, we'll have a look at that. But anyway, let's have a look at some of the images on the screen in Lightroom. Adobe Lightroom it is, yes. So the latest version, wherever that might be. Yeah, cool. All right, let's have a look. Here we have the 35mm neg from the Nikon FM2, which you see looks fine, and you know, the grain structure is very smooth, and you know, that's quite a fine grain. That's a very fine grain film, and yeah, I think it looks fine. So let's do a comparison now with the Mamiya 645 next to it. And I think immediately when I bring those up, you can see how the Mamiya 645 has significantly more detail in it. But if we enlarge these, you can see the HP5 grain structure is far greater than the Delta 100 grain structure. So I think the chap who asked the question wanted to do this little experiment about, you know, if you put a finer grain film in the FM2 and a coarser grain in a 120, what would the comparison be? And as I mentioned in my intro, it would be a very unfair comparison to do the 6x7 GS1 compared to 35mm. That's why I went with the Mamiya 645 to do the comparison. And I think the Mamiya 645, the 645 format stands up very nicely. It's a lovely format, works very well. And I think, but they are very different cameras, and each camera has its own benefits and its own little idiosyncrasies which suit each camera for different purposes. And I think the 35mm is far more versatile as a camera in terms of being able to handhold it, shoot spontaneously, and still get great images. And I think when we do our little comparison now in print, will this difference be as great in print? And I most probably think it may not. But let's what we'll do now is we'll print both these images and see how they stand up and take it from there. Okay, so I've just printed this image, and as I thought, the difference in print is nowhere near as big as the difference on screen. And if you are going to, say, display your images on a screen, nobody's going to pixel peep on a screen to the level we just did. They're going to look at the whole image, so that's not a problem. And then if you are going to do an exhibition of your prints, or you are going to print a nice image for your own wall, then again, it's not going to matter. So basically what we have here, we have the Mamiya 645 on this one here, and the 35mm on this one here. And these are both just slightly under A3 on the height, pretty well. So, and when I look at both these images, and you can't see the film grain anyway, so it doesn't matter too much about that because they're not big enough to be able to really see the film grain. And this is quite a textured matte paper anyway. But when you look at them, and yes, the Mamiya does look sharper, slightly, but from a distance, from a viewing distance, there's not much in it. So I think what that demonstrates is that the camera that you have, be it 35mm film, be it 120 film, is going to yield really great results. And I think, the quality of the lens, I most probably could have even used a better lens on the Nikon, because is a 50mm f1.8 standard lens for the time, manual focus, nice lens, absolutely fine. And I decided that because the lens I had for the Mamiya 645 was an 80mm standard lens for the Mamiya 645. So it may well be that I could have used a sharper lens on the Nikon. But ultimately, in print and general viewing on screen, on an iPad, on an iPhone, on your website, it's not going to make a great deal of difference. And so I think the purpose of this episode was that actually don't worry about it too much. The whole experience of developing the film, be it 35mm, be it 120, be it 5.4, doesn't matter. It's the experience of doing it, the joy of the craft, the joy of creating something analog and then scanning it digitally and producing digital prints, absolutely fine, but you still have got something which was you shot on film, and that's a joy in itself. So yeah, ultimately it's not a massive deal. You're not gonna be disappointed by any format. It's all gonna be fine. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this episode. Really appreciate all your support. Really appreciate all the questions that you ask. It was fantastic. It's, you know, the question was what spurred this episode on. So please ask me more questions and gives you more ideas for more episodes. And hopefully that's of interest to you. And yeah, if you can hit that bell icon, that'd be great. So you know when the next episode's coming out. And if you can please like and subscribe, that'd be absolutely marvelous. And yeah, I'll see you on the next episode. So in the meantime, you take care of yourselves and yeah, cheerio.